2 tries to 0.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where or when you're listening to this. Welcome to another edition of Tackling Issues. Today, joining me is my lock pairing of Stuart and Jared, and we get into our current Matchday 23. Let's get into it. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Don't forget to leave a like.
Anyway, thank you. Thank you again for joining us for another week. Jared, thank you for joining us with your sore tooth, making the effort, coming out there.
No problem. Anything for the boys?
Well done, Jay. Well done, Jay.
And as always, Stuart edging him on. Stuart, say what's up to everybody.
How's it?
All right, so today we are going to run through our current match day 23, but we are doing it with players eligible to play international rugby. So I think it's going to be quite interesting. We're going to have quite a few selections, or rather my selections might be a bit erratic, but let's see how it goes. I've got a feeling the number 1 slot is going to be easy in all of us. But
So then you can
Jay,
go for that first morning.
I went Stephen Kitchoff. I think he's arguably the best in that position currently in the world. And I don't see, being a Stormers fan as well, I think that pushed the pick. But unless you guys want to add anything to it.
Nah, the Ginger Ninja, definitely, man. He has to be there. He's on form, man. He's the best loose head at the moment, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah. There's not much to say there either. Not much argument there. World Cup winner, Super Rugby captain. You know, still relatively young. What's he? 27, turning 28 this year. Best loose head by miles in the world at the moment.
yeah,
Done well this year, captaining Stormers in the absence of Khaleesi. So he's got leadership ability.
Yeah, exactly. 91 caps for the Stormers already, 47 caps at international level, and he's 27.
And like you said the other day, we touched on the fact he had to get permission from his parents to play Super Rugby at, 18? So
yeah, exactly. Straight out of high school, Stormers snapped him up saying, "You're playing professional rugby," but he was too young. Had to get his parents to sign a form to say it's fine for him to play.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I think also just Beast's longevity in that jersey is maybe the only thing that stopped him from getting more caps.
Oh, absolutely. If it wasn't for Beast, I reckon Kitchoff would be close to sort of 60, 70 caps now at international level. Not a bad oak to have off the bench though as an impact player, because he's such a solid scrummer. And yeah, I think our front row in general is probably the best in the world. And Kitchoff is certainly the anchor for that.
Yeah, I remember hearing a story about I think him and Estabeth. I think they were in Argentina, and they had to get extra weights brought into the gym. There weren't enough weights for the two of them. That's crazy, man.
I don't know. I think, Jay, was it you that sent that picture of Itzabeth when he was like, I think he must have been doing a push-up or something, but there was muscles in places that I haven't seen before. They are monsters.
They're both monsters, yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, I think that's quite a unanimous decision. No arguments there from my side. But Kitchoff,
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
my number one, Lucy.
I wrote him down before we even continued. So, Jay, do you want to kick us off with the number 2, if your toothache allows it?
Yeah, definitely for me. I know he's lost form a bit, or people think he's lost form. I just don't think he's been given the opportunities to play. I think Malcolm Marx is the best hooker in the world. I think he offers you what Bismarck does from a physical build right through to his running game, defense. I don't think anyone can match him. That's my opinion. I think take nothing away from Bongi. I don't think Bongi's anywhere near in the class of Marx, and he should definitely be starting. I would play him for 80 minutes a match, and any other hooker that plays in South Africa can come off the bench if he gets injured. That's how good he is. He just needs to keep playing.
Just so we're not being too biased, it's not a SA current squad, but I think these two, the first 2 players, I think Kitchoff and I also Marks, 2 players are arguably the best in their position currently in the world. Stuart, who did you go with?
I didn't go Marks. I rate Marks big time, and I am one of those oaks that have felt that he's dropped his performance, but only because I think of 2 reasons. Number one, I think he got a little bit complacent, as he was the outstanding hooker for South Africa, and he was almost guaranteed to be the starting hooker. And I think he got a little bit complacent. And then when he went to a lower division type rugby tournament in Japan, I think that kind of gave him a little bit of, not a bad mark on his point, because it's not his fault for chasing money and going to Japan, but the competition is just not nearly strong enough from a Super Rugby level. So I do think that kind of tainted him a little bit. I rate the Oak, and he's definitely within the squad of mine, but I went Dane Coles for my hooker. I just think,
when did he only played in Japan now, this year? He didn't play before? Or am I wrong?
No, he didn't play.
He didn't play Super Rugby this year because he chose to go make some money in Japan. But his book before, but for the books, he was dropped last year and during the World Cup. For what reason?
Well, I think it was the complacency. That's why I went with the 2 levels. Complacency, number one.
You look at the
I honestly just think he thought he got cocky, and like I don't know if it was he wasn't training hard enough, or he wasn't working hard enough on his skills or anything like that. There were some games where I just didn't see the Malcolm Marx that I know of Malcolm Marx, and I didn't like him always trying to get the ball on the wing. He needed to be a forward when we needed him to be a forward. I don't mind it in Currie Cup or Super Rugby level, and you floating in the back line, trying to get a ball and score a try or whatever. But at Test Rugby level, if you're a hooker and you're a forward, you need to do your job first and foremost. And then after you've done your job, maybe you go and try and get some glory. And I just felt Malcolm just went way too much for the glory and not enough for the basics that needed to be done. And that's why I've gone Coles, but only because of I think his credentials of being a World Cup winner, Super Rugby winner, captain of the Hurricanes when they won their first Super Rugby title in 2016. And don't forget that the Hurricanes have boasted players like Lomu, Cullen, Umaga all at the same time, and they've never won a Super Rugby title. Dane Coles was captain of the Super Rugby, their first Super Rugby title in 2016. He was nominated for World Player of the Year in 2016. He's got 64 caps for New Zealand, and he's got over 100 in Super Rugby.
And he's been in hospital since 2016.
No, I get that.
I just want to.
He's been injured since 2016, man. How many games has the guy played?
I also agree. Like, if we're talking about form, also, I think Dane Coles has had a bigger dip. And that he's been up and down. I think
but his was down to injury, not down to attitude and anything like that.
How do you know Marx has attitude, man?
Because you can
You
see
have
the way he was
No,
playing
rubbish,
his last
man.
couple of games on the field. You could just see he was just
No,
chilling.
no, I
you
don't believe that. I
well,
have to disagree.
Stuart has a fair point in terms of we haven't seen how Marks maybe Rassi or saw something that more in Bongi, like Bongi had a better work rate, or Bongi seemed to suit the style of play better at international level than Marks did. But I think coming off the back of last season, what Marks did in Super Rugby, I think it was very difficult not to have him starting for South Africa. But like I
I
said,
think you
maybe
guys are looking at Marx's Super Rugby credentials, not from last year, but from like the year before and the year before that, when he was with Akka van der Merwe and he had that outstanding Super Rugby season. Last year's Super Rugby, he didn't have a great season. And I don't know if that's just him or if it's Lions in general, but he didn't have a great season, in my opinion.
Well, that's your opinion. Luck to
No,
them.
I totally get that.
I don't.
Look,
I think you.
I-
I think you're wrong, man.
I'm not saying that I'm gonna go Bongi over Malcolm. I'd go Malcolm over Bongi for my World Cup team for South Africa any day of the week.
I'd go Bongi over Coles any day of the week.
No.
On Coles'
How many
form.
times have you selected Coles in your Super Rugby fantasy?
Yeah, but
team?
he's not on form, man. He's not. Out of all the players, he's definitely not on form, and he doesn't get enough game time, man. At the Hurricanes, they've got some good hookers there.
Asafa Moore.
Yeah, they've got
Yeah.
Amour, they've got Riccatelli. I get that, and Coles. I still think is better than both of them. I think they just manage. I mean, New Zealand
don't think he's
manages
better
players
than-
a lot
than
differently than. I think he's better than Amour. I think Amour
Never.
will be better than him eventually, but I think he's better than Amour.
No, I think he might have been better than Amur, but not now. Not right now. He's living in the past, man. You're thinking of all his glory days.
Well, we can only speculate. It's currently what's happening, but yeah, I think there's many hookers that can maybe slot in or have an argument to slot in there. But I think those we did mention.
I still
maybe
rate Coles massively, and I mean that's why I selected him in my Super Rugby fantasy team this year. I still think he's got a lot to offer, and I still think he will. I just think
no
he
doubt.
needs to be managed a bit differently because his injuries have taken a toll. But there's a lot of players that are world class who have been managed slightly differently because of certain injuries.
Hmm. No, fair enough.
I mean, take North for
Nothing to
example. If that guy hadn't had like 7 concussions in 2 years, I think he'd be on everybody's team sheet as one of the wings. He's absolutely phenomenal.
Yep, 100%. From a standpoint for profiling purposes, we are gonna leave Marks because it's 2 out of the 3. But Coles could get a position on the bench. Not saying he won't, depending on who's on our benches.
No, that's cool because I had Marks on my bench. It's not like I've disregarded Marks completely and I've
Oh,
put him
okay.
in the bin.
That's cool.
I mean, Marks is absolutely phenomenal and he's 100% on my bench. I'd have Dan Cole starting and Marks coming off the bench. That's just how I feel personally.
Who would you have as your starting tight end, Stuart?
Well, we've spoken about this dude a few times, and I think it will be Tad Furlong. I mean, Six Nations Grand Slam title in 2018, Heineken Cup win in 2018. He's been on a Lions tour already. He's still quite young. I think he's only like 25 or something, 26, and he's got 100. He's got over 100 caps for Leinster. Solid tight head, and I think it's close between him and Sinclair. But I think because Furlong's just a little bit more level-headed, and he can stay on the field for 60 minutes, 55, 60 minutes without giving away stupid penalties or yellow cards or anything like that. I've just gone for him just from a sort of more level-headed perspective, and yeah, so Furlong's my title.
Yeah,
Jay?
I agree. Yeah, I've done the same. Definitely, we spoke about him in the last podcast. I don't think anyone is besides, like Stuart said, Sinclair. The two of them are in their own league. I give a mention to Wilker Lowe because I think if he's given the opportunity with the Springboks, he could be in their league, but he hasn't, unfortunately. But those two from international level, definitely. And I think Stuart's right. Cole coming off the bench will be a much bigger impact than Tag coming off the bench, in my opinion. And yeah, I rate him. He's strong, big, and I like it that he makes meters and he carries people with him. He's powerful number 3, man.
Do you know what his nickname is? That they've nicknamed.
Is it Shrek?
No, they've actually nicknamed him. I don't know if you know the WWE wrestler Rikishi.
Is it? Oh, nice, man.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's a little trivia there. Yeah, but he was
I
dubbed
just know that he's
Rikishi.
a farmer, and like when he's not playing rugby, he's on the farm, like farming, helping his dad and stuff like that. So I mean, like he's just a workhorse.
Pulling all the machinery himself.
Yeah, he's probably putting the tractors and the plowers and combine harvests.
Don't need no engine. No, I am not gonna dispute that at all. I had him as my tight head as well. Spoken
So
of him
that's unanimous.
way too much not to give this one. I am gonna give my number 4. My number 4 choice will then be Eben. I think we spoke a little bit about him earlier on, and I think given the time, this guy is gonna rack up one hell of a career for the Box. Jay, who did you know your number 4 go?
Yeah, he is my number 4. Evan is my number 4. Without a doubt. Not much you can say about him. Everyone knows the guy. Brilliant.
Yeah, no, I think that's quite unanimous. Again, World Cup winner, a lot of tests for the Springboks. I mean, he debuted for the Springboks at 21 years old. He was nominated for IRB Player of the Year when he was 22. He's the youngest SA player to reach 50 caps, and he's captained the Boks. And he's 28 years old. I mean, that's quite a career already.
No, indeed. He's about the same. Well, we're speaking about Brody earlier on, but he's about the same age, Brody.
Yeah, but Brody's won World Player of the Year. That's the only difference.
Yeah, well, I think Eben is well on his way there. Just, I think he needs a full run a season. I think, at least personally, he's been a bit injury prone every now and then.
Yeah, no, I agree because he's such a hard player and he puts everything on the line. That he has had a fair amount of injuries, but when it comes to the moment, when it's a World Cup game or something like that, he's always that person that steps up, and he steps up big time to the plate.
True.
No, he's brilliant. He's brilliant, man.
So another unanimous decision, Ibn Istabeth as our 4. Stuart, your number 5 then?
I mean, I didn't really go 4-5 locks. I just went with a lock pairing. I'm sure they can interchange because locks nowadays aren't really so much a 4-5 as they used to be. But I've gone Itoji.
Okay.
I mean, the dude's 25 years old. He's got 100 caps for Saris already. He's a Premiership winner 4 times. He's a Heineken Cup winner 3 times. He's won a Grand Slam. He's an unbelievable talent. He can play flank. He can play lock. He's ferocious in defense, and I honestly think he will be the future England and Lions captain. I'm not saying next year, but definitely a future England and Lions captain.
Jay, who did you run with?
Yeah, no, I'll rate Itoje. He's on my bench. I think he offers great impact off the bench. But for me, I had to fit the guy in because like I've stated before, I don't believe his best position is as a loose forward, even though he won World Player of the Year, and that's Pieter-Steph. I think he needs to play with Estabeth at 5 and Estabeth at 4. They need to become the next Buckies and Matfield. And for me, he cracks it ahead of Itoje at 5.
Look, I'm definitely not disagreeing you with that. I love him at 5. I really do, and I think he's better at 5 than he is at 7. But let's be honest, he's going to play 7 for as long as Rusty's around. He's playing 7.
Well, you
As
don't know
much as
that.
I'd
You
like
don't
him
know
to
that
play
for
it.
sure. So my 5 is Pieter-Steph. Like I said, I think he's better suited to 5 than a loose forward. I think he's great in that loose forward position, but I think he has been found out in previous years, and I just feel with the amount of great loosies in the world, and if you're picking a world team, I don't think he makes it in that position for me. But I still think he's the number one with between him and Itoje for that number 5 jersey. I just think Itoje off the bench would be better, and a guy like Pieter-Steph just doesn't give up. He can just continue and keep going, and I think he's a better starter for me.
See, the thing what's great about both of them is that they both play the same positions. They both play 5 very well, and they both play.
They can both play that blindside flank position.
Both play that blindside flank really well. Yeah.
No, they're both phenomenal players. It's just it's hard to choose between the two of them. But with Pieter-Steph being World Player of the Year, he sneaks in there, and the fact that he has played with Estevez a lot, he makes the starting lineup.
Yeah, Stuart, go. What were you saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've obviously selected Pieter-Steph du Toit. I've just selected him in the position that he's been playing for the last sort of year, 2 years for Stormers and now South Africa. So I'm not going to elaborate too much because I will when it gets to the blank positions. But I don't disagree with Jay at having Pieter-Steph at 5. I think he's better at lock, in my opinion.
Yeah. From our conversation last week or a couple of weeks ago, did have Mario Itoje in at the 5 spot. Then I just Jay kind of swayed it to me, thinking, or both of you kind of swayed it. He's saying his best position is probably at that number 5 spot, and like Jay alluded, World Player of the Year, and he's got to be in the squad somehow, some way, and I've put him in at my number 5 slot as well.
Pieter-Steph.
With Itoje, Pieter-Steph with Itoje coming off the bench, but we'll get to the bench later.
Cool.
Like I said, he's got the height for the lock position, and he can slip in. If you did, let's say, go somebody off the bench, like an Itoje or something, both of them could play either or position. Number 6, who started off the last one? Jay, Stuart, do you want to give us our 6 or our flanker? Our first flanker.
I went with Artie Savert. I mean, the guy can play. He can play 6 or he can play 8th man. I mean, I reckon he could play all 3 positions in the back line. In that loose forward. Sorry. I know the 6 and 7 debate between South Africa and pretty much the rest of the world is different, but I think he can play all 3. I know he doesn't have many sort of accolades like the World Cups or anything like that, but I mean he's still young. I think he's 25, 26 years old or whatever, and he only joined the All Blacks in I think 2016 after they won their last World Cup. I think he sat behind Kane and Reed for way too long. I think Kane for sure. He sat behind Kane way too long. I think the All Blacks just went for that safer option of having like a like for like replacement for Richie, and playing somebody like Kane. And I didn't think it worked out for them. Savert would have been so much more destructive and impactful if they had him in their loose trio with Reed at 8 for those sort of 2-3 years that he was playing. I think, in 2019, he was nominated for World Player of the Year. Obviously lost to Pieter-Steph du Toit, but he won New Zealand Player of the Year in 2019. So it just shows you how much the Kiwis rate the Soak, and even though he's only 25, 26 years old. But yeah, still needs a bit of work on a defensive structure. I'd like to see him get to the breakdown a little bit quicker. Maybe try and steal a couple of balls. Because he's definitely got the upper body strength. He doesn't always have to be that sort of loose forward where he's not getting stuck in, but that'll come with time. He's still young, and I think as age becomes a factor, he won't be able to be as destructive carrying the ball. But I think he'll be more destructive at the breakdown.
No, I agree wholeheartedly with Adi being in that position. I mean, I said the way he runs with the ball, the way he carries that upright knee-high runs that he does, it's almost impossible to stop him. But yeah, I think if New Zealand did go with him a lot earlier, I rate Sam Cane. I know he's almost broken now, but I think Artie's definitely in my books up there. Jay, who did you go with at 6?
Yeah, that's a unanimous decision. I went with Artie. He plays like Stuart said, he can play all 3 positions, and he might be short, but yeah, you definitely see him on the field. He's everywhere. From an attacking point of view, he scores some awesome tries. The speed he's got speed like his brother. Not many loose forwards with speed like that. Needs to work on his defense a bit. Definitely, I don't know if I don't think he's hiding from getting involved in the rucks. I think he's playing to a game plan that the All Blacks and the Hurricanes have put in place, where they want him to be free, similar to a Joe Verniekerk, where he stays out and joins the back line, gets involved. I think that's one of the reasons he doesn't get involved, because the amount of meters he makes when guys are trying to tackle him, with guys on top of him, proves that that's definitely not a reason for him hiding away from rucks. He's definitely a player that's physical.
I think when he does get stuck in, you definitely notice that he has that capability. Some of the steals he's made, it's
definitely.
Yeah, I agree, and that's why I'd like to see more of it.
Anyway, so Adi Savia, unanimous decision. We've spoken at length about this guy enough. Number 7, Stuart, you went with a 6. So Jay, do you want to give us the 7?
Yeah, so this guy's very similar to Adi, but I just couldn't leave him out of my squad. He's been phenomenal in how many years of Super Rugby, and that's Michael Hooper. I think captaining Australia for so many years already at such a young age. Got that leadership abilities just everywhere. Obviously, he's been a bit quiet at Super Rugby level, but it's also he's not playing in the great Warriors team. And yeah, I just think he's phenomenal, man. What a player to have in your squad. Definitely one of the world's best loose forwards, in my opinion, and I had to put him in there. So gone with 2 short flankers, but it is what it is. They both deserve it, in my opinion.
Yeah, but Hooper, you see, this is what I want to see more of Adi in, is a Hooper. When the Waratahs or Australia's got the ball, Hooper's around the fringes, collecting, making meters, ball carrying ability is insane. But when it's defensive time, that dude makes like 15 to 17 tackles a game. He does 2-3 steals a game. Adi doesn't have those stats. Adi doesn't have the defensive stats yet. Hooper for me, 100%. Although I did go Pieter-Steph at 7, I'm 100% willing to put Pieter-Steph at 5, move Itoje to the bench, and I had Hooper on the bench, and I'd put Hooper in at 7. I'm quite happy with that. I wasn't sure how people would feel about Pieter-Steph being at 5 because he doesn't play there now, but I'm more than happy to do that. So I'd go Hooper at 7, and I'll move in Pieter-Steph to 5.
Yeah,
and then what do you have? Do you have another lock to surprise us with?
No, Itoje will be my lock then on the bench.
Oh, so you're going to choose a new loose forward for your bench?
I'll choose a new loose forward for my bench, yeah.
Wow, we've made Stuart change his squad. Can't believe this.
This is amazing stuff.
This is history being made in episode 4.
Wholeheartedly, Hoops for me. I think I've picked him almost. I've managed to get him almost every year in our fantasy game. It's just the meters he gets. He's just ferocious around the field. A monster. But like
I think Stuart had him in the first year, and then you've nicked him since then. You've nicked him
ever since. Couldn't get him below.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
I think I might have had him. I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh no, you've
Yeah.
definitely had him, Jay.
I didn't have. I think I had him for 1 year as well.
Yeah,
All I know is
that's
that
probably-
I've got him this year. That's all I know. So
Yeah,
I'm quite happy with that. He was my second choice.
he
Who's
will,
Yeah,
he
but
will, he
this
will
year
be
could
back
be-
again.
This year it could be over already. Mornay could be the winner.
Mornay, well, as it stands, Mornay is the winner.
I'll take it by default.
Yeah, you'll take it like Liverpool are going to take the Premiership. It's going to be a tainted asterisk on your name. On the trophy, it'll be Mornay Aris 2020 with an asterisk on it.
It might be interesting to see. It might be a topic worthwhile to speak on one of the others. What's going to happen going forward? How they would finish the Super Rugby and what they will do forward. But we'll speak about that in due time. Number 8. I'm just going to spew it out there. I had so many picks here. For me, at least, I had so many picks.
So
But
many. I had
I had
one
one.
and one only.
I had literally one and one only. I didn't even need to think.
but it's your opinion. But I went Believe Bono.
Okay.
Yeah, as my number 8.
Wow.
Great. No,
Yeah.
no, look, great player. I'm not denying that at all. But if I'm gonna get grief for Coles being on the hospital bed, Believe it, Polar, I don't think the Oaks had a full season yet.
Not
No, I rate
necessarily,
him,
but
but
it's more it's his game similar to what Pieter-Steph is. It's just his game that causes that, and the way he plays. But I've got, like I said, I got 4 players actually that I would like, but we can run through them later. But if you guys wanna,
for eighth men.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
let's
at
run-
least that I rate through.
Well, let's
rate
run through
who-
it now while we on that position.
We can do it in special mentions. But who have you gone with? Because you guys might have picked out one of the other ones.
Well,
I've only picked the one.
If you haven't picked if you haven't picked the one that I've picked in your 4, then there's problems, Mornay.
Okay, go.
There's bigger problems than I thought. And
Go.
that's Dwayne.
Dwayne Vermeulen without a Thor.
Yeah, he's one of the 4 for sure.
Okay, well then you're safe.
It's one of the 4, but I just think I don't know. I'm uncertain of what. I know he's eligible now, but in terms of a team, it's uncertain whether he will continue or.
Yeah, he said he wants to play in the Lions tour next year.
Yeah.
He's continuing
Yeah,
to end the next year.
He's definitely playing till
Yeah.
next year, and I think after the Lions he'll be done because then he'll be.
He said
what,
he said he will push for the Lions tour, but
Oh, he'll make it. We
Yeah.
don't
see.
have another 8th man in South Africa.
no, we don't.
And he's
Wait
coming back. He's coming back to play. I don't know which team he's going to go for yet, but he's coming back.
He's at the Bulls.
He's at
No,
the
he-
Bulls.
He left the Bulls. He's not at the Bulls now.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's
No.
at the Bulls.
No, he has left.
It's
He has
not.
left.
He played last year
Not
at the Bulls.
done.
He's the same as Ritelek. He's playing in Japan, but he's made it known that he will be coming back to South Africa to fight for a position in the World Cups and the Lions squad. He's not in any of our teams.
He's currently with the Kabuta Spears. Sorry if I butchered that name, but
he didn't. I don't
No, he
think
hasn't.
he terminated his contract with the Bulls.
He only
No,
had a
he'd
year
probably come
contract. Him and
He'll
Brits
probably
only
come
have
back.
year contracts.
Oh, okay.
Oh, but
I know
let's,
we don't have him in the team because he did go back to Japan, but no, I mean, well, and the fact that we can select players from anywhere in the world, he will
I'm pretty-
definitely be available, and
I'm pretty sure
100%
Jake
on
White
that.
will convince him. Jake White's director of rugby there now. I'm pretty sure he'll convince him to come back there.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think he's building his team around him for the next year.
which team we're talking about?
The Bulls. I think Jake
Oh, the
will
Bulls.
Bulls, yeah.
he'll
Jake
build the
White's
Bulls up around
out at the Bulls
Dwayne
now.
for the next year or two.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
Well, I couldn't look at anything further than Dwayne.
Yeah,
I mean, the
well,
dude should have at least 80
it's-
caps for.
It's
South
just that
Africa.
it's just that indecision that made me leave Dwayne out. But yeah, for sure,
He was
Dwayne is
world-
probably miles ahead of
Well, he-
any of the other players that I have picked.
he outclassed? Was Billy even in the final?
No, I don't think Billy
No.
made it because of injury.
Dwayne was player of the man of the match in the World
He
Cup
was
final.
man of the match in the final.
So
against
MVP,
England,
yeah. That's correct.
And he's like Stuart said, he should have played many more games for South Africa if it wasn't for PSP's keeping him out the squad. And
Not just that, but also remember the
It's
laws
like-
changed a couple times. First, we couldn't
Mm.
select any player from overseas, and that was when Dwayne went to Toulon. And then it only changed, I think, and then it changed in 2016 for the 30 cap rule, and then in 2018 no caps. Like you can play for South Africa if you play overseas. And I mean, for somebody that only has 54 caps, he should have 80 plus. If it wasn't for the laws preventing him.
he made Peter de Villiers' first training squad, I remember, and that Super Rugby tournament he was the best loose or best forward in South Africa, and he made it along with Louis Liddick, who was at that stage the best backline player in Super Rugby, and they both got injured. I remember that, and Louis never ever played for South Africa, and Dwayne never played for another 4 years. Never played for Peter de Villiers. It was unbelievable.
That is
and only came back when Heineken Meyer brought him in. So there's the 4 years that he missed.
Yeah, and there's one kudos that I'll give Heineken Meyer then, because there's not many accolades that I'm willing to tip my hat to Heineken Meyer in any shape or form. But that's one I will. That's one I will actually tip my hat to Heineken Meyer for bringing Dwayne back into the mix. But also when he went to Toulon, he didn't play for South Africa for another 2 years. So that's probably 6 years he's missed of playing international rugby for us.
He brought Dwayne in and then made the biggest mistake of his life to leave out Brousseau. The two of them played junior rugby at the Cheetahs together. They were phenomenal when they came on the scene with Johan Smith at 7 and the two of them at 8 and 6. That loose trio was phenomenal, man. And then he chooses not to select Brousseau to play with him was madness, man. But he's not a World Cup winning coach.
Yeah, it's what it is. Who wants to kick us off for the number 9 position?
I'll go.
I also think that one's quite a obvious one.
I'll go. Let me see your choice. Go for it.
No, you can go first.
I went Faf. I don't think it. I think Faf.
Of course, you went Faf.
I hope you did too.
Of course, I went Faf.
Good man. Just wondering if you're going to come with your Aaron stuff.
He didn't even make my bench.
Aaron didn't even make my bench either.
Good boys. You listened to me. Well done.
No, Faf, and we can move on. He's incredible. Well,
no, I think Faf.
What's the nickname?
For all the I don't know what his nickname is.
Anyway,
Twat in the Speedo. I'm not sure. But for all the hate and like the chastising that he got for his box kicking and stuff like that, it's such a major advantage to his game that I think we actually underestimate how important it is to be a good box kicker. And you look at all the best scrum halves in the world. You look at like Conor Murray, at whose box kicking was so important for Ireland. I think Faf was throughout the World Cup, and then obviously we didn't do so much against England because Rassie could see that England set up for the box kick because they were playing so deep.
We
caught them off guard.
Yeah, we tricked them. We completely tricked them into thinking we're going to play that game and change the whole style.
Yeah, and I think that's what just brings out Faf's versatility. I mean, he was so good in Super Rugby, and he's been so good at the English Premiership. I think his first season for Cell Sharks, he was the best player. He was chosen as the fans' best player and the players' best player for 2 years in a row.
And he lost out. And he lost out for the Player of the Year, but for a guy, I don't even know who that guy was. He must have been phenomenal. I think he played for Bristol as well. I don't know. The guy must have been phenomenal because the matches I watched Faf play the matches I've seen him play in Europe is unbelievable.
Yeah, But
And
I
he's so
probably
strong.
think the biggest accolade that I can give Faf is his defensive capabilities. I mean that try-saving tackle against Ireland in 2006 to win us the series was
And
just it just showed like the absolute grit and determination that a dude that's so small. I mean, he's smaller than me, and I'm small.
She
Um,
doesn't shy away from a tackle at all.
no, I mean,
Who
who was that? Who was that
he
eighth
tackled
man
that?
of England where he drove back like 10 meters?
Yeah, Billy.
No, it wasn't Billy. Billy was injured as
But
usual.
No, it was Hugh. It was Hughes.
Nathan Hughes. There we
Nathan
go.
Hughes. Yeah, it was Nathan
Yeah,
Hughes. Yeah.
smashed him back like 10 meters off a defensive 5 meter scrum on England's part, and then I think went in to go try and steal the ball. Some other oak picked it up. He dived across, tackled him as well. They knocked it on, and we ended up getting a 5 meter attacking scrum just off the back of this oak making 2 tackles. It's just
No,
phenomenal
Yeah.
to see.
he is phenomenal, man. Just the way he can rev up other um, players from the opposition teams. He just knows how to get the better of them. He's just
Yeah.
look at that.
He,
What that Welsh guy? Was it Jake Ball? Where
Yeah, I
they
think
made
so.
the
Yeah.
video of the two of them like they're in love.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And
He's
I think
just
that dude was about like a meter taller than Faf.
and he was smiling and just smiling at him. Yeah, no, he's brilliant.
Yeah, he's got an all-round game. His box kicking, his attacking, his defense, his rugby brain, everything. It's a full package. I
I'm
don't.
really thankful that that we changed the rule in 2018 for the 30 cap rule, because
To bring him back. Yeah,
yeah, how many years do you think Faf missed by going overseas? About 2 years?
no, it was only no, it was only that 1 year, that first year.
So just 1 year.
Yeah, but also he came through late as well, like Dwayne and them. He didn't get recognized at a very
At a
young
young
age,
age.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true.
and he
Because he's
played
only got about 30 caps for SA.
exactly, and he played for the Pumas for a while in South Africa, and he played with that's why him and Vincent Koch are very good friends, because they both played for the Pumas,
Okay.
Curry Cup level, and then he got his chance with the Lions, and then he's never looked back. He's been
No,
phenomenal
he
with the
absolutely
Lions.
took his chance with the Lions.
So he did, and I remember reading some comments on SA Rugby magazine's website where the guys were saying that this guy's the future, and I didn't even know him at that stage. And yeah, look, he's definitely come from nowhere, and to be one of the world's, well, in my opinion, the world's best scrum off.
In my opinion, world's best scrum off, yeah.
In my opinion, the world's best scrum off. Yeah. Um, that
So
was
another
just a little.
unanimous and another South African.
I know this is
Yeah,
starting to build up. I apologize
be
for
a little
any.
bit biased.
Yeah, but now
I think we should
we'll
just
all
go
just
straight to 11.
yeah let's just say number 10, the God.
The
Okay,
God,
the God Barrett.
Bowden Barrett.
There's not much more we can say.
No, I
for
have
me,
no words for this oak. I mean, the fact that I chose him in my Super Rugby fantasy team, knowing that he was only going to be able to be eligible to play in like mid-April, just shows how much I rate this guy.
his speed though, I still can't get over him running with the ball. His
No, he's
speed
awesome.
is I don't think there has been any other flyer for that sort of speed that. And well, we had Carlos Spencer last week, where in terms of like Carlos Spencer was always
Yeah, but he
innovative
was
and
flair. I don't think he was speed.
Yeah,
Bowden
no, I'm
Barrett
not
is
saying speed, but I'm
Bowden,
saying
Bowden Barrett is
innovative.
everything.
But Barrett has that to his game. Plus, he has the speed. He's not afraid to run into a tackle. Not afraid to tackle. He's
not
No,
even
he's
just
Carter.
defensive.
everything.
Not even Carter had that speed.
No,
No,
not even
no,
close. I just
not at
think
all.
I don't,
if Bowden Barrett spent, I don't know how long he does spend, but I'm guessing not much. If he spent maybe an extra 2 hours a day
kicking.
practicing kicking, he would be he would be so good. And I think that's probably only reason why Hansen chose Mwanga at 10 and Barrett at 15, which I still think was the biggest mistake a rugby coach has ever made in the history
It
of
cost him the
rugby.
World Cup.
It absolutely cost him the World Cup. How Steve Hansen selected him at 15 and Mwanga at 10 is still beyond me. I still wake up in the middle of the night going, why? I can't. Like, I'm happy about it because obviously we ended up winning the World Cup and we didn't have to play them in the final because that would have been tricky. But as a rugby fan, as a lover of rugby, I don't understand. It just, the maths doesn't add up for me. The limit does not exist.
He made some shocking choices, man. Like you said, like we touched on last week with Laumapi not even making the squad. He should have.
Yeah,
For me, he should have played outside. Inside of Barrett, the two of them, and you guys like Smith, but I think Perenara at 9 and Barrett, that whole Hurricanes 9, 10, and 12.
Yeah, 9, 10, 12.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then you can mix
combination.
it up a bit. I would have had Asso as well, but you could mix it up a bit with a different 13. But definitely, I would have kept those 3 starting, man.
Yeah,
So,
You're right.
it's
It's hard.
Can't-
I mean,
can't get over it.
we spoke about them leaving at the beginning, even leaving Shannon Frizzell behind after he had a decent season.
Oh,
And
he left some
He had a phenomenal
some good players out of that World Cup squad,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
uh,
I mean,
but
let's be honest. It's probably the most difficult job in world rugby is to select only 31 players to play for New Zealand because they probably have 2 or 3 squads that are
Yeah, but
we also touched on
it's
that.
not.
good.
But
We also
it's you
touched on
can't.
that maybe there's players that sort of outshine other players. Like if there's maybe a gap between 2 players and the next, but he just missed out on one of the players that
Yeah,
you would
but
think would be a shoo-in.
yeah, but you can't. Like he made some big mistakes in his last year.
Massive mistake.
His obsession with Ione at 12, his playing Geordie Barrett
Jack
at wing,
Goodhue.
just playing. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Who wants
Goodhue at
someone?
13.
Oh man.
Anyway, I'm not good. I'm not. This isn't a how bad is Steve Hansen's decision making
Yeah,
podcast. It's a World 15-23
yeah.
podcast. All right, Morne,
Where
go with your wing.
I went with Rico. Talking about him, Rico Ani. We just said about mistakes being made, but I went with him at wing. It's much better at the wing, even though I like him at 13. I don't mind him at 13, but in this team, I went with him as my wing, my number 11, if you will.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Yeah,
he's one of the world's best wings at the moment, and he's so young as well. His speed, and his finishing ability is unmatched, man.
Yeah, he's finishing that last sort of 10 meters to the try line. I think it's hard for anybody to stop him.
He's powerful, man. He's strong. He
yeah,
doesn't look it,
absolutely.
but he's very strong. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you guys know how much I rate Rico. He's first on my team sheet in Super Rugby every year. Sometimes I get him, sometimes I don't. Jay, you got him this year, which I'm very fortunate to have. But I mean, he's always there for my number 1. I mean, the dude scored 24 tries in 29 games for New Zealand. That's just it's ludicrous to think that you can do that well.
I've
And I
been a
mean,
bit
it's not that
unlucky.
he's only played against rubbish teams. He plays rugby championship every year against South Africa and Australia. In South Africa, in Australia, he scored 24 tries in 29 games.
No, he's
I mean,
brilliant, man. And he scored quite a few against South Africa.
yeah.
And he's
And Morne touched on it, his versatility, because he could play inside, outside, fullback, or wing.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
debuted at left wing. He's become a better right wing, in my opinion, over the last couple of years. He's a phenomenal outside centre. I don't really rate him at inside. But outside centre, yes. Right wing, yes. And he debuted at left wing. And you can still play left wing. And I've got him as my left wing only because of somebody else that I wanted as right wing. But he's a nightmare for defenders because he doesn't have to be in the position that he starts in, he could be anywhere on the field and he will be destructive.
I just
Yeah.
think his defense is not as good as some of the other centers, so I don't rate him at center. Definitely, I don't think he's powerful enough for that 12 position. He's a powerful
No, I
player
agree.
in space, 1-on-1, but
Yeah.
running and trying to, he's not an Andre Esterhuizen or a Laumapi. He doesn't
Yeah.
have that power to do that, and then that 13 is very specialized position to try and run that backline and run the defense. I don't think he's up to it, but definitely on the wings, without a doubt, starting wing.
Yeah, I agree
And
that
fullback. I mean, you just give that guy 5-10 meters in space, and chances are he's beating one or two oaks and making them 20-25 meters
No,
past the game
definitely.
now.
yeah,
I mean,
no doubt.
he made his debut at 19 years old. New Zealand. He played for New Zealand when he was 19 years old. And at 20
It's
years
not
old, he was nominated
not
for
an easy
Breakthrough
feat,
Player of the
no.
Year and World Player of the Year
Yeah,
in the same year, a year after you started playing for New Zealand. Okay, lost to Burton Barrett for the World Player of the Year in that year, but I mean, 19 years old making your debut for New Zealand it's unheard of nowadays for any international.
I don't think anybody can argue with his selection in this team. The accolades speak for itself.
Yeah.
And I think a 12 jersey also you mentioned, it just restricts both of you. It just restricts him. He can't sort of, let's say, lack of a better phrase, spread his wings. I don't think he's as creative or knows what to do with the ball at 12. He has had some good games at 12, but yeah, definitely. Out on the wing is his best position. The number 12, our inside center. Jay touched on him. I'll go with my pick for this one, and I went with Laumapi. For I think Hansen made a huge mistake to leave this guy out, or not to select him. But yeah, he's Super Rugby. His Super Rugby stats speak for itself. Him next to Arso. That's probably New Zealand's future going forward. Unless you guys want to elaborate on anything else.
No, I would Laumapi. Again, you've touched on the Hansen thing. I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous that he wasn't selected in the squad for the World Cup last year. I mean, like, how long has he been playing for the Hurricanes? Since about 2015-16. He's been the most destructive inside centre in world rugby for the last 4 years.
Exactly.
I mean, the guy's always got the most tackle bust. I think he's had 2 years where he scored the most tries. And he's not a big oak, like 178 centimeters, 97 kilos.
Did you say Laumapi?
not
Well,
consi-
I don't know.
he's
My
not
TV might
considered
be
big.
zoomed.
He's strong for a center. He's heavy for a center for his height, and he makes so much
178.
ground.
I mean, what are you,
Yeah.
Jay? 194?
No, I wish I was that tall. I'm 187.
187. Okay, fine. You almost 10 centimeters taller than him.
Yeah.
He's not big in
No,
terms of
he's
height.
not.
He's short. He's stocky. 97 kilos is bulky. But
Mm.
then Jordy Barrett's 96, and he looks like a stick
It's because he's
compared to Laumapi.
he's like a missile. he's just you can't leave him out of your squad.
No, but I just think the meters that he makes after contact is I think the only one that can come close to him is Karevi. But Karevi can't be eligible to play for Australia right now because he's gone overseas.
Yeah.
But meters after contact there's nobody like him.
I actually looked it up. Like his last year, his average gains per runs were 11 meters.
Mm.
And I think out of
That's ludicrous at inside center. You have no space at inside.
It was 11 meters, and the closest person to him was like 7.8. It just goes to show that's on average how much meters he gains for every carry. Karevi was the second one, yeah. Okay. So Karevi was 7.9, and Laumapi was what, like 11. It's just It just shows the gain he gets every time he carries. Short bursts. It can be, and he's not slow at all. So when he gets space as well, he'll exploit you. So like I said, I think between him and probably Vince Aso is probably the future for New Zealand going forward. But whether they get a coach
Yeah,
that
for
actually
you, for
selects him,
me, for Jay, not for the bloody New Zealand hierarchy. I don't know what they're
Yeah,
thinking.
exactly.
And I mean, it's not that they've got had a huge like shift in focus with their coaching, because the assistant coach Ian Foster is now their head coach, so he's going to just sort of carbon
Continue.
copy what Steve Hansen was doing. Hopefully he won't. Hopefully he'll see the light at the end of the tunnel and start using these players, you know, in a better capacity after watching Super Rugby games. Steve Hansen couldn't have watched Super Rugby if
No.
you're not going to select Lau Mafe. It's just impossible. Impossible not to select it.
yeah.
So
I mean,
that's
every country in the
that's a
world would want
unanimous choice.
Yeah, we've gone
Now
pretty unanimous the last position.
for me as well, him playing outside of Barrett, without a doubt, seals the deal.
Who's oh, you mean Lamapi outside
Yeah,
Bowden?
Lamapi, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Barrett 10, Lau Mafe 12. Jesus, you could have anybody get 13. I couldn't care less. With those two as your pivots, it actually doesn't matter who your 13 is if you've got the ball.
It does on defense though.
On defense, it does, yeah.
13, your 13 needs to be, and that's one thing that, from a Springbok point of view, that's one thing that's kept Lukanya Am in the Springbok starting lineup.
Yeah, his organization,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. I wouldn't
But
say
there
he's the
is-
best outside center we have, but he's just his leadership
It's
and his
his defense.
organization.
Look at Creel. I love Jesse Creel. Don't get me wrong. I think he's one of the greatest Springboks we've had. It's just he can't live up to that potential because he's so good on attack, but and he's so built as well, but he just doesn't have that. He can't read the defensive play, and he can't run that back line, and that's what Am can do. But yeah, Am's not in my squad, so I'll start off with mine. I went
There's only
with
one outside centre.
Jonathan Davies.
Absolutely.
Yeah, without a doubt. Karevi would have pushed hard. It would have been tough for me to choose between him and Karevi, but from defensive point of view and his attacking skills as well, he's brilliant, man. Very good. He even kept O'Driscoll out of that Driscoll's last lines tour.
Yeah, he did. He replaced him, and then he had an outstanding game.
And everyone was moaning about it.
Sure, but Davies, I think that guy's been my favorite outside centre for probably close to 10 years now.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
He's so unlucky with injuries. Yes, he's unlucky with injuries. But
unbelievable player.
Yeah, I mean, he's done 2 Lions tours. He's been to 3 World Cups. And like Jay, you touch on, and I touch on all the time. I think 13 position is so crucial, and the way that he defends and organizes the defense and how he commands that back line is something quite rare.
Yeah, I went Jonathan Davies as well. He's getting on a bit, but he's definitely been. He'll definitely make that Lions squad next year.
But barring injury, he should definitely make the Lions tour this Africa.
Yeah, 100%.
From experience point of view, they need him there.
Yeah, because who else is there? 13. Jonathan Joseph, I don't really rate.
No. There's not many.
No, there's not many. I was looking
Irish
at
boy, what's his name? Ringrose? Gary Ringrose or something. He's decent, but nobody compares to Davies. Nobody has compared to Davies for probably the last 10 years. Ever since O'Driscoll retired, I think Davies stand out 13 in World Rugby.
Yeah, true. 100% true. Stuart, you were eager to do the 14 position.
Colby.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Without a doubt, Colby. probably the most underrated player because of his size. But World Cup winner, he can play multiple positions. He's played.
I think he
He played
shocked the
9.
world.
He played
shocked
9 for South Africa.
Exactly. He shocked the world, man, with his
He did,
performances.
absolutely. And if it wasn't for Pieter-Steph, he could have been World Player of the Year. I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was
without
so
a doubt.
good that year for Toulon, obviously for South Africa. He's right now. He is the most explosive player in world rugby.
Definitely.
Keep forgetting how young he is. I feel like I've heard his name for a long time, like he hasn't pushed through.
Yeah,
But
because
he's
he
not.
played the Super
What's
Rugby
he-
for like 5 years, and he was so good for Stormers.
He should have played for
Yeah.
South Africa a long time ago. He
Oh,
was
Yeah, he should have.
he was messed around because of his heart.
He should have
Yeah.
had his debut for South Africa the same year that he started playing Super Rugby for Stormers. He was that
Exactly.
good for the Stormers that year that he should have had a call up.
Even Brian O'Banner said he's never seen anything like him when he first came on the scene. There's watched a video clip on YouTube where Banner was saying the guy's phenomenal. Like the things he does in practice. they can't even catch the guy. He's just
Yeah, I can imagine.
And
It's
But
unbelievable.
I don't necessarily agree with Mallet to say that he should be a 9.
No, I don't think so. He's so good at 14, and I think he could be just as good at 15.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was
absolutely.
just about to add the plus side of Kobe is that to have him, whether you have him in your squad or your starting 11, he can play. You're starting 15. Sorry, he can start at right wing or you can start at fullback. He'll give you.
Exactly. And
He'll-
even if you wanted him off the bench, imagine the impact he can do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you have him as your
he can play
23.
anyway.
Unbelievable.
Oh.
He's unbelievable, man. He's unmatched at the moment.
Yeah.
I think he's the best.
Definitely.
I think he's the best. I think he for me, he's even better than Rico Ioni at the moment. He's in such great form, playing in Europe, playing for South Africa. He's just
Form
now-
wise,
right now
I
he's
would
the
go.
best backline player in my opinion.
Form wise, I
agree.
would go. I would go Cheslin, 100%.
Yeah. And
I
I
think
think just
overall-
because everywhere he's gone, he's done so well. Because like some people do go overseas and they don't, it's different environments, different cultures, different ways of playing rugby, and you get found out, or But everywhere that dude's gone, he has just he's blown up, and he's made such an impact everywhere
Was
he's
it now?
gone.
Stade Toulouse.
Yeah, in France he's been amazing, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. Cheslin Kobe.
We
World
just
Cup
lucky.
showing as well.
We so lucky we chose him. Otherwise, like that photo I sent you guys, he ended up being playing for France, man.
Yeah, that would have been catastrophic. I would have lost the plot. I would have lost the absolute plot.
Not watching any more rugby at all.
And you know what? And you know what's crazy is that he actually went overseas without playing for South Africa, and then was so good in France that he was called back by by Rossi, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
He never played for South Africa until till 2018. I think Rossi brought him back.
Yeah, that's what I said. He's been around for so long. Well, at least that's what I can see for so long. But you forget his age. Like,
And you
what he's
forget how
done.
good he was on the 7 scene.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He's done the
that's true.
sevens. He's done the sevens book as well.
And didn't he kick? He used to kick for the sevens.
Yeah, he played
Well,
he played the playmaker role, like the
Yeah.
fly half role,
He can still
and
kick as well.
and he played
So
fly half for Toulouse.
Yeah, he gives you that. I was about to say he's played the 10 role as well. So
Yeah, no,
Mm.
he's most versatile, most explosive, best backline player in the world by miles.
And he did and he kicked for poles for Toulouse as well, and he kicked one hell of a kick from the touchline. I was watching that recently, so he's really surprised me there. I never realized he does place kicking.
yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean, he
Good
did a little bit of it for the Stormers, which I remember. Obviously, for sevens, I remember him kicking. I don't think he's ever kicked for South Africa.
No,
And yeah, like you said, he slotted in at 10 for a few games, or actually quite a few games for Toulouse.
no, he's a real good squad player. Brilliant.
good old Cheslin. 15. I'm struggling with this, but if one of you wants to elaborate on anybody.
Well, for me, there was only one person again in the starting lineup, and that was Stuart Hogg. I don't think.
Okay.
I think for me, he's the best 15. Made some mistakes recently in Premiership rugby, but for me, definitely what he's done in the last few years and his ability to run from that fullback position, I think he's unmatched. I don't think there's a better 15 at the moment, but I might be wrong. Let's hear what you guys say.
All right.
Stuart?
Yeah, no, Stuart Hogg. I can't elaborate how much I like this guy. I didn't like him at the start, to be honest. But maybe I don't really rate Scottish guys that much. But no, that's no blight on them. But yeah, no, Stuart Hogg. He'd be my starting 15. He's probably the only one that is an out and out 15 at the moment in World Rugby. Everybody else is kind of a 15 or a 10 or a 15 or a wing.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
he is a 15, 100% a 15. And yeah, I can't see anybody taking that 15 spot from him in the Lions next year, barring injury, of course.
Mm.
And yeah, if I had to pick a world team, Hogg would be my 15, just off the basis of his ability to run from deep, give him a bit of space. He's got such good vision. His stepping is phenomenal, and yeah, like I said before, the only out and out 15 I think in world rugby at the moment.
Are you telling me that the only position we actually, well, it was only me that argued about it, but was 8 and 5? Because I went with Stuart Hogg as my fifth as well.
Okay.
I was actually,
well,
I didn't have him at the beginning, I gotta admit. But then I
Who did-
started doing research because next week we're doing the
Who did you have?
little spoiler British and Irish Lions team. But I went with the first name I put down, but it's not more recent, but it was more last season. But it was Damien McKenzie.
Okay,
solid boy.
Yeah.
good choice.
But like Stuart said, Stuart Hogg is more out and out 15. Damien McKenzie is more like he can play 10, can play multiple positions. But yeah, Stuart Hogg snuck it in after my research was getting started. So yeah, just quickly run through our 15 again. Well, what we collectively picked: Stephen Kitchoff at loose head, Marks at hooker, Furlong at tight head, then 4 and 5, Itzebeth and Pieter-Steph the toy, 6 Artie Sevilla, 7 Michael Hooper, 8 Dwayne Vermeulen, 9 Faf de Klerk, 10 the God Bowden Barrett, 11 Rico Ani, 12 Laumapi, 13 Jonathan Davies, 14 Cheslin Colby, 15 Stuart Hogg. Sound about right to you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a solid team.
I think some people will say we're a bit biased, but I'd like them to come and tell me who's better than those South Africans we've
2, 3,
chosen.
4. Well, you can put in the comments. Anybody debates or wants to debate. Are we gonna run through our benches quickly, and then select a bench collectively afterwards?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. Jay, do you want to kick us off, or you want me to run it first?
You can run it first if you want. You can
Okay,
go first this
so
time.
well, my bench was slightly altered, but oh no, it wasn't. So I went with my 16. I didn't pick Dan Coles, but Cody Taylor, I put him in there. Then I had Michael Vunapolo. 18, I had Carl Sinclair. 19, I had Mario Itoji as my lock. 20, since we picked, well, wasn't really sure about the Dwayne selection, but then Billy would be my 20. 21, I went with TJ Perenera. 22, I went with Owen Farrell, and my 23, Jordie Barrett. That was mine. Jay, what was
you love
yours?
Jordie Barrett, Morne.
I do.
He does love Jordie Barrett, eh?
I love Jordie. Hey, the guy can play. The guy can play outside center, wing, fullback. He can kick for poles. He's got pace. He's got the height. He's got the strength. Is
I think
is
I think
is
he's I think he's
other
a
than
good player, but I don't think he's a great one of the great All Blacks. I don't
I don't
think
think he's a great All Black, but if there was
but
let's
he's
say a
making your
category
world team, so he's got to be a
yeah,
great All Black.
if there was a category to go down, well, current team, I think if there was a category to go down as your best utility players,
So what?
then I think
So
Jody Barrett will be involved in there.
so who was your 20? Who was your 22 and is he your 23?
Yeah,
Who
Jody
was
Barrett's my
22 again?
Owen Farrell, because he
So
can
you
play
left
inside. He can play inside and he can play flow.
and you left. So you left Damian McKenzie, who was going to be your number one fullback.
Yeah,
You leave him
obviously
out of your squad.
we will rotate that now. But I'm just saying that was my bench.
Okay.
That was my bench.
Okay, my bench. I'll let Stuart think about his bench because he's not prepared enough for this.
I was prepared. You just made me change it. You made me change
Okay, go
my
ahead. Go
lock
then.
and flank. But you go.
Okay, so my hooker is completely different to all of you guys. Then my hooker is Jamie George. I think Jamie George is a great player, man, for England, for the Lions. Awesome impact, and basically I have a whole England front row on my bench with Marco Vunipola and Carl Sinclair. So
Nice.
I've gone with Atoje at lock. I think he offers a lot off the bench. I've gone with CJ Stander as on my bench.
Yeah,
I love CJ. I think South Africa
absolutely. I
missed out
agree.
so much. He covers all three positions.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's Billy is unlucky for Billy, but I think CJ offers more on that bench than Billy. And unlucky for Billy that Dwayne Vermeulen's still around. Otherwise, he would have definitely been my 8. Perinara is my 9. I think he offers so much off the bench. And then I didn't go with Owen Farrell. He definitely wanted to mention, but not in my team. I went with Manu Tuolagi as my
22.
22. Covers both centres, and then Damian McKenzie as my 23, who covers the back 3 and fly off too.
Okay.
It's not bad as well.
That's my bench, for impact.
Stuart.
All right. Well, originally I had Hooper on my bench, as you all know. But I've drafted him into my first team when I moved Pieter-Steph into the lock position.
Yep.
So I went Malcolm Marx at 16. I went Mako at 17. Carl Sinclair at tight head. Now I'll go Maro Toji at the 19 position. I agree with CJ Stander. We've missed a huge opportunity by not having him in the South African setup. And like Jay said, he can play all 3 positions. Solid. I think he's best at 8, but absolute solid player.
Not to mention he retired Pat Lambie basically.
Oh yeah, but with an illegal tackle in the air.
I don't think it was intentional.
No, it wasn't intentional, but it was still illegal. We got a red card in like the first minute, and Pat Lambie was in the air.
I know.
Which was unlucky, but I think it was just a bit of rush of blood to the head. Coming home, playing against South Africa. So I do forgive him for that because I don't think he's a dirty player.
He was Lambie's captain in the 2011 under 20 squad.
In the 20 squad.
Yeah, he was the Springbok captain, and he didn't even play for South Africa.
I think we shanked that one time.
Definitely.
I went TJ at scrummy. I went Owen Farrell at 22. Like Morne said, he can play 10 and he can play 12. His kicking ability is just phenomenal. Nobody kicks like Owen Farrell. His defense when he uses his arms is pretty solid.
Jabs.
I can't believe you guys have left. None of you have even chosen Tuilagi in your squad.
No, I'm not going with
No.
Tuilagi when I've got Laumapi. I don't need two bashes.
Ah, you do, man. You need him off the bench, man.
Nah, I don't need him off the bench. I've got Laumapi at 12. I've got Davies at 13. I certainly don't need another.
I never chose Farrell
Basher.
because I, like I said,
Because he doesn't tackle with his arms.
no, I have Laumapi at 12 and I have the guard at 10. There's no space for Farrell because those boys are playing 80 minutes unless they get injured. And then if they do get injured, I've got Damian McKenzie who can come in and I can shift the back line a bit if need be.
Stuart
Yeah,
was at
nah.
23.
And bring
Damian
Tuilagi on.
McKenzie. Damian McKenzie was my 23. So I would have, so if God gets injured, I've got Owen Farrell that can slot in at 10. And he's a very, very good 10. He's a much better 10 than McKenzie.
Yeah, but I don't think he offers enough off the bench. Like
Farrell.
unless we're very unlucky and Barrett gets injured in the first few minutes, then
I
Farrell
think
would be a good bet. But
the only thing you need Farrell to do is if you are down by 2 points and you've got a penalty, Farrell's going to kick it over to win you the game.
yeah, but
Bowden Barrett's not going to do that.
no, but Damian McKenzie can do it.
Possibly, but not as
Ches
well
and
as
Colby
Farrell.
can even do it now that.
But I think
kicks.
Damien's kicking is it's very high percentage. But I think sometimes in some games Damien's kicking can let him down. Like there's some games he'll absolutely shank it. He won't take it as seriously. But those are normally games when the Chiefs are running away with it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just think Farrell just offers more as a up and out 10 and a very, very good 12.
No, he's a good shout. He's just someone I would definitely have mentioned, but I wouldn't have had him ahead of. I wouldn't have had him on my bench. He would have to start.
well,
and I
our
can't-
benches.
And I
Our
can't have
benches
him
are
ahead of Lamapi, and I can't have him ahead of Barrett.
Our
Well, I'm not
benches are
having him
fairly
ahead of
similar.
Laumapi.
I just think
But yeah,
I don't think he
the
offers
benches are too
enough
full.
off the bench. I think for someone like his quality to sit on the bench I'd prefer him to start, but he can't start ahead of the guard. And
No. And he's not starting ahead of Laumapi, that's for sure.
and I just think tired bodies on the field with a Tuilagi. Imagine a Laumapi going off at 60 minutes and the opposition players look and see Tuilagi running on.
Yeah, I'm not taking Laumapi off the field unless his leg is broken. And then I'll
Well,
think about it.
Well,
Who
if I
covers
if I-
13 for you? Laumapi.
yeah,
Laumapi will cover 13 if Bowden got injured, I'd put Owen Farrell in. If Davies got injured, I'd move Laumapi and then I'd put Owen Farrell in at 12.
I just don't know about Laumapi at 13. I'm sure
I
he can
think he'll
play
be
it.
alright.
I don't think don't know. Be interesting.
I think he'll be alright. If not, I can move Rico to 13.
I suppose, yeah. You got Rico, yeah.
And then I'll have McKenzie and Colby.
Cool.
Yeah.
Although I don't think
Yeah.
McKenzie's can play wing as well as he can play fullback. I just don't see McKenzie as anything but a fullback.
At this point
I
in
think
his
he's a great
career,
fly-off, man.
yeah, I think he's a great player. But I think at this point, well, it depends what the New Zealand coaches do. But I think at this point in his career, he's probably best off just joining that New Zealand team at 50, because I think
They don't
number
have
two.
a 15 that's
No,
like a
Ben
solid.
Smith's done. So
Yeah, he's retired.
Geordie's utility, I think
get
he's
off
better
Geordie
off the
Barrett.
bench. I think he's better off the bench. So I think Damien's your starting 15.
I think the All Blacks, my starting 15 for All Blacks would be
Havili.
Havili, yeah.
Really. Yeah, me too.
With McKenzie
But
on the
he's not a
bench.
shoe-in. He's not a shoe-in.
He should be. Should be the shoe-in, but he's not. For whatever reason.
Oh,
I
there's
think
a lot
again
of
the Crusaders play him at 12. They play him at 15. They've played him
Yeah.
at wing.
He's like a stain. He gets messed around.
Yeah.
You don't know his actual position, so it kind of deters him. But I think it's Bowden Barrett at 10, Mohanga as backup, and then Damien's your starting for. So it should be.
I wouldn't
Well,
even have Mwanga as my backup.
I would.
no, neither would I. I'd
No,
have him in the
I'd bring
squad.
Sopaga back.
He's in England, isn't it? He's at
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wasps.
I'd bring him back. I'm saying I'd bring Lima
Oh, if
Sopaga back, and I'd have him as backup.
Sobaga was back, it might be a different story. But
Anyway,
current
we're
standings.
sidetracking. Let's go back to naming the squad quickly. The bench.
The bench.
We haven't. Yeah,
So
we
the
haven't.
only real debate we have is at 16, because Stuart mentioned Dane
No,
Coles
it's
in
fine.
his
We could
starting.
no, because you guys both chose Malcolm as your starting, so Malcolm's
Yeah.
starting.
And then we have, so I reverted Dane Coles as a possible 16, Cody Taylor and Jamie George.
Okay, Cody Taylor, I'm ruling out.
Yeah, me too.
I'll concede to Jamie George. I think Jamie George is a phenomenal rugby player.
Easily done. I don't disagree. I think between Coles and Taylor, Taylor's been the more consistent one lately, as of late.
Oh, but that's because he gets game time.
I think he's a good player. I don't think he's phenomenal. I
don't think he's nearly the same page as Dane Coles.
I think Dane Coles just needs to get. I don't think any of them. I think Amur is better than both of them. That's my opinion. And look at the games. When he does get game time, he's been phenomenal. So.
Oh yeah, he's.
I don't think they are. I think Coles has too many injuries and he's done. In my opinion, I think Cody Taylor is a good player. Nothing great, nothing special.
Yeah, I agree. I've never really been high on Cody Taylor. Good squad player, good Super Rugby player, but not at international level.
To be honest, I think he's going to carry. Well, not. I agree with your points, but I think he's going to carry that New Zealand number 2 jersey for a little while.
Yeah, he will. I think he will, and I think Amur will get some game time off the bench.
Well, depends how if Dane Coles can stay fully fit. Then
I think Coles will be in the squad. I think those three will be those three will be the in their squad.
Three, yeah.
I think they'll try and keep Coles and prolong his career as long as possible. They fought to keep him in New Zealand.
Yeah,
and he should be overseas making some good money, but they've kept him there.
So Jamie George as our backup. 17.
I'll accept Jamie George. Solid.
So we have the England front row on the bench.
Yeah, Pola. 18, Carl Sinclair. 19, we all agreed on Atoji.
Jesus.
24
are England.
Yeah. 20. I will give you guys CJ Stander because I did flirt with him and I think it's gonna be in the British and Irish Lions squad next year. But I just think I was thinking more of age, but yeah, he's been phenomenal. So I will concede CJ Stander, and we did miss a great opportunity on him.
Who did you choose again?
Billy. You chose Billy.
Billy. I dropped Billy
to Billy as your starting.
Yeah, I had Billy as my starting, but
then Dwayne was on the bench.
Yeah, I wrote Dwayne because I wasn't sure about Dwayne, but
okay, so you've rotated. So Dwayne starting, Billy on the bench, but we've kicked Billy off because of Stander. Cool.
Yep. And then 21 TJ unanimous TJ Perna. 22 Owen Farrell. I think it's a 22.
So Farrell,
two out of the 3. Myself and Stuart.
Farrell does win it. Yeah.
We all agreed that Damon McKenzie better than 3. Even though you guys don't want to put Geordie Barrett. Sorry, Geordie. I tried to pick up your name.
No, Geordie. No, good player, but he's not there yet.
He's got to wait for them to. He's got to wait for them to retire. My favorite part, special mention time.
I've got 2 special mentions.
Go.
On current form, and I think we spoke about him not too long ago. Fussy.
Up in
on current form. I know he hasn't played for South Africa yet, but world team right now. On current form, Fussy's been the outstanding Super Rugby player from a backline perspective this season. I know it's only been 7 games or whatever, but every single game the dude has made like over 100 meters. He's got plenty carries. He's scoring tries. He's busting tackles. So Fussy would be a honourable mention for me, and I hope he does get a shot at that green and gold soon, because I think he will be a phenomenal player for us. And the other one that I want to mention is one of Jay's gems, one of Jay's pure rough diamond finds, and that is what's his name? Harry
Wilson.
Harry Wilson. There we go. The 8th man for the Reds. Also, just on pure form this year, he's been outstanding forward. I think in a not great team, and but yeah, just the amount of tackles he makes, his ball carrying ability, steals. I've been loving watching him play rugby, and I think Australia, if they don't select him, if we do have a little rugby championship this year, and if Australia don't select him, then I don't know what's going through these heads of theirs, because he's probably their best player at the moment.
Definitely, I like to give Herschel Yanchis a mention.
Yeah, 100%.
As a bench
Herschel,
player,
absolutely,
he's been phenomenal. Another guy's been quite injured, but I think Watson for England is a great wing.
I'm not really big on Anthony.
Don't you
Watson.
like him?
I'm not big on him either. I'm not a huge fan of Watson.
Well, I think Watson's class, man.
I think he's class on his day. He's class, but he doesn't do it consistently. For me, he doesn't. I don't know. He doesn't light me up like a Geordie Barrett does. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god!
I think he'll prove you guys wrong. I don't want him to, but I think he'll prove you wrong on the Lions tour.
Jay, this is the second week in a row. First, the Aussie saying, "Oh, you hope Australia win the World Cup." Now you're saying you hope they.
No, I said I hope. I said I'm sure he'll show you, but I hope he doesn't. But he will. He'll definitely be in that Lions squad.
No, he'll definitely be in the squad. Hands down, he'll be in the squad. Would I have him as one of my starters? No, I wouldn't.
Who would you start for Lions?
Well, that we're going to come to next week, aren't we?
Oh yeah, we're doing it next week. Okay.
Cool.
He wouldn't. He would definitely be in the squad, but yeah, he wouldn't be a starter. Not yet. Well, no, not yet. He's had plenty of game time. I just think that there's better out there, to be honest.
Oh, I'm keen to see who your wings are.
It'll be interesting.
You will see.
Cool.
Another one that I just want to special mention. I mean, there's some great flyers in the world, but I think Stuart was. I don't know if we were speaking on the podcast or we were just speaking casually, but we mentioned how level-headed Cohen Bosch is and how smart he is, how on form he's been in that 10 jersey.
Yeah, no, he's been phenomenal at 10 this year, but he doesn't come close to this team.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's because of the stature of the flyers that we have. Well, the versatility of people like Damien McKenzie, Farrell, but he's definitely one who I think all the players we mentioned, they're quite young and they will definitely be in our 11s if we do another one maybe next year or the year after. They will get there.
I think if he's given game time, he'll prove people wrong. I think someone that we can mention now, and he had a great World Cup, is Andre Pollard. I think unlucky for him that he can't. That there's guys like Barrett and Farrell around, because even though he won the World Cup and they never, but he's really great.
It's like like an unsung hero kind of. He's done the business for South Africa 100%.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, I don't think there are many out-and-out like standout fly halves in the world at the moment. I think a lot of them are getting on. Sexton's getting on. Big is getting on. Other than maybe Roman Intermac coming through for France, I don't see many like young out-and-out fly halves coming through. Pollard would be probably my third or fourth choice fly half. I'm big on Finn Russell. I don't know why, but I am. I'm big on Finn Russell. I think the guy doesn't even know
who's your number three
half the time. My number 3 fly half.
Yeah, ahead of Pollard.
I just said Finn Russell.
More than? Oh no, I can't agree with that. That's a shock. I mean,
no.
you've pulled the Mornay of the night.
I didn't. No. If you go back on the podcast, which I'm sure you will.
Oh wow!
I didn't say that Pollard is my number 4. I said that he's like 3 or 4 because I mean, just watch Finn Russell, dude. Like you will be shocked at actually how good he is. He
He's a good
reminds
player,
me of
but
a slightly level-headed Quade Cooper. The dude's got so much flair and ability that I think like people like his backline don't even know what he's going to do half the time.
well, none of his backline know what they're doing half the time.
Well, because his backline is rubbish. He's got Stuart Hogg at 15, and I don't know. I can't mention another backline player for Scotland.
I think that's why he looks so good. Because
he
it's
has
like
to do everything
it's
himself.
him, and then 3-4 other
Hogg.
guys, and then there's Hogg.
Yeah, pretty much. But no, just of what I've seen this year with Finn Russell and a little bit of last year, I'm starting to warm up to that. I do like the way he plays rugby. I'm not saying he's going to be my starter for British and Irish Lions. I'm not saying he's going to be he's the best fly-off in the world. I'm just saying look out for him. He's a pretty decent player.
It will be interesting if he even makes Lions squad, because he might not even make the Scottish squad because he's fighting with Townsend.
Yeah, but he'll make Lions squad.
Well,
Possibly, but
that will be something.
I'd be quite shocked if he didn't, because I think Sexton's done. I don't think Sexton's got another Lions in him.
You never know, though. This is is it the same coach again?
Yeah, it's Gatland.
Yeah, so there's a good chance Sexton will be in
going. Anyway, but we will get into that next week.
Yeah, be interesting. Yeah,
with the Lions. But no, it's been a rather we've basically picked almost, I would say, about 20 positions like for like out of the 23, which is really good. Shows we on the same wavelength in terms of rugby premises. Some people might say we're a bit biased considering the amount of SAP, and
we've only got 7 and none of them were on the bench.
Who can?
That's very biased.
The thing is, who's if you run through our South African players, there's no one better than Kitsoff. It's very hard to find a hooker better than, in my opinion, better than Marks.
Pieter-Steph and Pieter-Steph speak for themselves.
Exactly, World Player of the Year, and Esteveth, you don't have to speak about him. And then you've got Dwayne Vermeulen. He finished off as the best international player by winning Man of the Match in the World Cup final. And then you've got Faf. He's unbelievable. And then you've got Colby. So I don't think anyone can really argue. Who are you going to put ahead of these guys?
Yeah,
I can give you my list now.
Then there's no one ahead of Colby. No one ahead of Dwayne.
No one ahead of Colby. No one ahead of Dwayne. Although I think a lot of people would make the Benny Vunipola case.
But he's not. But he's had a lot of injuries, so it's very difficult for him to be ahead of Dwayne. And every time Dwayne's played against Billy, he's outclassed Billy, and Billy's gone off injured.
Yeah, well, I mean, Billy goes off injured a lot though.
And I was at the one game at Twickenham where Billy was completely outclassed by Dwayne. He's just he's a great player, but he's unlucky that there's someone called Thor around still.
Yep. That's true. But also Billy. I mean, how old is Billy? Because I don't think he's that young anymore.
28.
He's not that old. Yeah, he's
28.
28.
He's got another World Cup in him. Yeah.
Okay.
He's younger than his brother.
His injuries. I know he's younger than Mako. Mako is
27, in fact.
Mako looks about 40. He's
He did not get the genes in his. Well, there you have it. If you're enjoying the content we're putting out, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to leave a like. See you guys next week.